Today I'm going to share with you one of my favorite parts of the boot making process. Now if I have any students out there, they're probably laughing at this point because when I teach a student, at every step of the way I'm saying, okay, you're going to love doing this because it's one of my favorite parts of the boot making process. I obviously say that often. The soles are on the boot, they're ready to be trimmed, but you can see how they just don't have a nice graceful shape in here. It's not pretty. Jay always said a cowboy boot should look like a Coke bottle or a beautiful woman, and he would make an hourglass shape with his hands. A cowboy boot sole should have a very graceful shape in here. That's what I'm getting ready to do, is I'm going to trim these edges so that I have a nice curve. Now I'm going to take my lip knife and I'm going to trim a beautiful curve into the sole of this boot. Now, since this is a pair of cowboy boots, the operative word being pair, I'm going to make sure that they match. And now look at the beautiful curve on the bottom of these boots. So Bill, how'd you get into boot making?
Oh, big story. When I was very young, my dad owned a shoe store, a high-grade men's shoe store, and I used to go into the shoe store and just open up the boxes, smell the shoes. So that's where I started shoe stuff. And
Then why cowboy boots?
so I went off to a boot making seminar, and I was hooked.
Cowboy boots will do that for you.
Yeah, it was just. I just fell in love with it.
Mm-hmm.
I was totally on fire.
So tell me what you're doing now.
Well, like happened before, I went to the place where I said, "That's enough of that." Enough of that.
Yes, and cowboy boots will do that to you also.
I made enough boots. I said, "Yeah, I had made enough boots." So I said, "Well, I don't know." I woke up one morning and I said to Julie, "Let's do a school." And she's okay. And I sat down and wrote out our website, and we threw it out there, and wham!
What styles of shoes do you teach?
We teach fashion shoes, two different levels. I would call intermediate and then advanced. We teach men's shoes, basic Oxfords and stitch down shoes. And we teach that with the moccasin course, so they make a moccasin in 4 days, and then they do stitch down shoes after that. Hiking boots. The excitement of building the business and teaching it still is exciting.
Yes. And my daughter Paige was one of Bill's first students.
Yeah.
Not long after you started, Paige went out there. She flew alone to Oregon when she was 14 and took Bill's ladies pump class and made probably her first pair of real shoes out there.
Yes, they were beige colored, very high, and spiky heels, and they were edgy.
Yes.
And she took the class with our other really edgy students.
Yeah. Yes.
And it was a joy. It was a lot of fun. She's going to be the future, the rock star of shoemaking.
I've talked about my little skiving knives before on featured products, but today I want to demonstrate intensively how to use them and how to hold them and how they work. I'm using the 1-inch skiving knife here. The 1-inch will do everything that the 3/4 inch will do. It's just not quite as comfortable to hold for long periods of really fine skiving. Today I'm going to talk a little bit about the specifics of how to use and hold this knife. There are two types of skiving. There's push skiving, which is skiving away from you, pushing the knife away from you. And there's pull skiving, which is pulling the knife towards you. You need both of these methods because you can't really start pull skiving on a corner. There's no way to start there. And the same way, if I were push skiving, it would be hard to start right here on this point. To solve that problem, I would push skive off just a little bit, and now I'm free to pull skive. Or if I were more comfortable push skiving, then I would pull skive just off the end of this one, and now I'm free to continue push skiving. The way that you hold the knife, if you're going to push skive it, if you're going to push away from you, put one finger up on the knife blade. See how these fingers are well back? If you've got all of your fingers up here, you can't get a good angle with the knife. So I've got one finger on the knife blade, and now I can get a nice angle and push away from me. And to pull, I'm going to have my thumb on top of the blade. My fingers are under the knife, but just barely. They're not all wrapped around it. Like this. And now I'm free to pull skive. You can adjust the angle as you're skiving, depending on if you need a narrow skive or a wide skive. If I need a wide skive, then I'm going to have this knife down low to the surface of the board so I can get a really wide skive. And if I need a narrow skive, I'm going to adjust that angle and have a really narrow skive. I've started a new feature called Email or Phone Call of the Day because once in a while I get an email or a phone call that just deserves to be shared. Hello, I am writing to see if you would be interested in purchasing a large diamondback snakeskin. I killed one in my yard in Alabama. She is just under 6 feet and was pregnant. That's a really lovely offer, but I don't do any tanning. I buy leather that's already tanned and dyed to make my cowboy boots.